Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Aja. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys on tonight. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. I'm waiting for some others to go ahead and chime in as well. So I'm glad to have you all with me tonight. Anytime that you want to make comments at any time while we're doing the session, feel free to make your comments. If you have any questions about anything, just go ahead and put those in as well. Do you guys have your book handy tonight? How to Be a God Wife, Not Just a Good Wife? We're going to be going over the noteworthy questions. I'll give it another minute and we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? Hello, Pamela. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Sharina. Okay. All right. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I wanted to do this for quite some time, and I wanted to have an opportunity to have some of you ladies or gentlemen who have actually had a chance to read How to Be a God Wife, Not Just a Good Wife. And there are some questions that are in the back, noteworthy questions. And then some of you may even have some comments or some testimonials once you read the book. And I'm going to actually have someone that has read the book. I know her very well, Miss Sharina Tidwell Watson. I'd like for her to go ahead and chime in and just go ahead and give me just a little bit of a testimony for her in reference to the book. And once we do that, then we'll go ahead and get started on any questions that you may have. Okay? All right. Okay, hold on just 1 second. Hi, Sam. How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. Let's see any questions. Hold on one. Bear with me, guys. Hello, Sharina. Can you? Hi, Sam. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, if you have any questions that you might have, go ahead and just write them down, and you can ask. Join in. Sharina, I'd like to go ahead and get started with Sharina giving her testimony. Thank you. Yes. Hello, Ebony, First Lady. How are you? Sharina, I sent you the invite to come on. Submission for you. Yeah, submission, in reference to the submission portion of it, a lot of people think, hi Ebony, a lot of people think that submission is a bad word. And I definitely wanted to put submission in the book. And so I I wanted people to understand that it's not a bad thing. We have to submit them to the Lord. When you go to your job, you have to be under some type of submission in reference to your boss. Yes, I can do that, Sharina. Please send it. Trying to find the portion. Hold on one second. Bear with me. Hi, Deborah. Okay, Sharina, it's already still in the sending portion of it. Okay, all right. So submission for me was something that I had discussed in writing the book, because a lot of people think, oh, if you're submitting, you're a weak wife, and why do you have to do that? You become a slave to your husband, and that's not necessarily true. She's no sound, she can't hear me. Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties. Hold on one second, please. Hold on. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now, Sharina? Can everybody hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. All right. So at any rate, I put that particularly in the book because I felt that it was really important. And so a lot of women would come to me and say, well, in the beginning, they felt like submission was such a thing where, they weren't going to submit to their husband because that's not what they were, created to do. And they weren't going to listen to him and abide by whatever. And that's not what it actually meant. But at any rate, I wanted to put that in there to let them know that the other S word, submission, is not a bad word. Was there any other questions that someone may have had about the book? Okay, good, you can hear. Hello, Dars. Thank you for tuning in. How are you? Okay. Okay, Sharina, are you able to hear me now? Okay, I think we're still having some difficulties. Okay, so on the Noteworthy, while we're waiting for her to tune in, the Noteworthy assessment, and the Noteworthy assessment, Noteworthy assessment, it has some different quotes that I have in here, and with each quote I have either a scripture or I have a question for you to kind of assess where you are or where you'd like to be. Good evening, Robin. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, you remember the story about the grandmother and how it was? Yes, exactly. What Sharina is talking about in the book, I mentioned about my paternal grandmother in North Carolina, and my grandfather would spend quite a bit of time away from home. He'd be gone like a few days at a time, sometimes, and come home. And even in the midst of that, he would come home. It didn't matter what time it was, and my grandmother would still get up and she would ask him. She would say, Louis, she said, are you hungry? And she would go and fix him something to eat. Now, in today's standards, that is something that definitely would not would happen in some instances, because if your husband is gone away for a couple of days and you don't know where he's been, you haven't heard from him, all of a sudden he comes home and then the first thing you're going to ask him is if you're hungry, you want something to eat. And that was her being the wife that she was. It didn't mean that she was being weak. It just meant that she was a wife and she knew what her responsibilities were in reference to being a wife. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Mama Dora. How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. So I know that, for some women, it's difficult. It's hard for them to try to handle being submissive or, to their husband or what have you. Okay. Was there any questions anyone wanted to ask in reference to the book that have read the book? Hi, Gwinnett. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much. Melanie. Thank you. Okay, one of the questions in the Noteworthy that I asked was, what have you experienced in your life that you are willing to show or teach others? It could have been something where you may have learned how to be patient, or a situation came about that taught you how to be patient and you wanted to exude that to someone else. Is there anyone that have ever experienced that and would like to share on that or elaborate on that? Can everyone still hear me okay? I think I'm having some difficulties there. Okay, I'm still waiting for that. Okay. How to be quiet when I know I'm right. Okay. I have actually been in that situation where I know that what I was trying to say was right. However, in that instance, we don't want to come off as, I know everything, I'm right, you're wrong again. That's the wrong message that you're sending. School tradition and biblical principles. Let's see. Yes, old school. Exactly. Thank you for that, Ebony. Yes, you have to apply biblical principles in a situation like that. Traditional. Some people have gotten away from tradition, so to speak, but at the same time, you want to know that whatever your response is, not so much your reaction, but your response is, you want to be able to validate that with the word of God. And so with that, you know you can't go wrong with the word. At the same time, you don't want to beat the word upside your husband's head, because you want to make sure that because you are saved and you know the word, that you're going to make him know the word too. So no, that it doesn't work that way. Hello, Ken. How are you? Thank you for joining in. Hi, Janelle. Is there anyone else that would like to be invited in? You have a question, a comment, or something, let me know. Okay. All right, Pam. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay, I just sent it, Pam. Okay. All right, another question that was in there says, what have you believed God for and it actually happened? Something that you were really praying and believing God for and it actually happened for you. Would someone like to share that? And the quote that is there, it says, life is what you make it. Whatever you speak into your existence will be the evidence of what you have believed. Sometimes it's a matter of speaking something that you firmly believe in God for, but you have to believe it first. And then watch it manifest and watch it happen. And I've actually seen that happen in my life when I believed God, when I wanted to go back to school again. And I was able to do that. And I was able to see myself graduate again and just be able to accomplish something. And that was something I was believing God for a long time. And sometimes life happens and you don't have the opportunity to do that. Let's see, what advice would you give for entrepreneurs, those who have ideas, and how did you take your dream to reality? Okay. It's not letting me show it. Okay. To reality, I know that it's not about, hold on. It's not about the book, but it is so inspiring. What I would tell entrepreneurs is whatever it is that God has laid on your heart to do, to start a business, to write a book, or what have you, don't allow fear to overshadow what it is that God is purposing for you. Sometimes you got to launch out into the deep and just go ahead and do it. And at the same time, once again, believe God when you do it. If you know that God has inspired you to do something, go ahead and believe. And out on faith, step out on faith. Sometimes we have to do that. It's a scary thing, but we have to believe that God has mandated us to do that. And so whatever it is, write the vision down, make it plain, so that you know that every day that you're looking at that, every day you believe in God for it, and you step it out in faith, and you're launching out into the deep, and God is going to give the increase. Why? Because you're moving out on obedience and you're stepping down on faith. And so that's what you want to keep in mind. So don't allow fear to stop you. Don't allow negative comments stop you. Just do what it is that God has called you to do, and God will bless you beyond measure for that. Hi, Tanya. He gave me the right job at the right time. He gave me the right man at the right time. Well, amen to that. And, you know, sometimes God has a way of moving things and people out of the way. And sometimes it might be us. Sometimes we're in our own way. And so once we get ourselves out of the way, God is able to move and say, okay, now I can use you for the purpose that I've called you to. Now I can give you that job because you realize you had to let that job go. And the same thing for someone that's in your life, whether you're a man and you were seeking God for a wife, but you allowing different females to come in and hinder the process that he's trying to move you on towards the one that is meant for you. And the same thing for women. Sometimes we can be in a relationship that's toxic. And when you're in that toxic relationship, God can't move because you're still trying to hold on. You're still trying to make it work. And you believe in God for that particular thing. And God all the time is saying, this is not my best for you. And once we come to that realization of knowing that this is not my best for you, we're able to move away from that situation. And then God is, okay, now the path is clear for me to bring in whoever it is that's meant for you in your life, who I've had for you all the time. But you've been stopping the process. Sometimes we're in our own way. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining in tonight. Thank you. So sometimes we have to think about that. Hi, Yvette. How are you doing? Thank you for joining in tonight. Yeah, so sometimes it's just a matter of us getting ourselves out of the way. Okay, the next one I have is stop the negativity in your life. Begin to surround yourself with positive thinking and actions that bring about positive results. You begin to look like what you hang around with. So if it's somebody that's negative and they're doing negative things and things that are not becoming as unto the Lord, then that's how you're going to come across. Association brings along assimilation. So you want to be careful of who you're connected to. What changes have you made to turn a negative into a positive? Something that you know that you, Lord knows you shouldn't even be around it, but how did you turn that thing around for a positive? Hello, Sylvia. Thank you for joining in. And it's not always easy. I tell you, listen, when you have negative friends around you and they're draining the life out of you, you begin to think like they think. You begin to act like they act. And then the next thing you know, your self-esteem is lowered because you're listening to what someone else is pouring into you. And that, again, is not God's best for you either. So if you're in a friendship, not a romantic relationship, but a friendship with someone, and you know that all they're doing is putting negativity on you and around you, you need to move yourself away out of that situation, period, because it's not helping you at all. And then not only that, sometimes you got to look at the fact that there are some people who don't want to see you prosper. They don't want to see you be blessed. I'm going to tell you, the hardest thing for me when I went to write this book, I knew who was for me and I knew who was not. There have been people I have supported for years. I mean, for years. And I've been there in and out. And not that you're doing things because you want something in return. That's not what I'm saying. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. And you find that the people that are there with you in the trenches, in the good, the bad, the ugly, are the ones who are for you. And sometimes you have to love someone with a long-handed spoon and just say, I love you with the love of Christ, but I can't allow you to be in my circle right now. Or you're not good for me. You're toxic. So I've had to cut the apron strings off from some people. And then I found out when the book was in the process and when the book was being done, when the book was completed, I found out who was really there for me. And so there are some people that don't want to see you prosper. Some people that don't want to see you blessed. And it's sad to say that some people can be envious or jealous, or the fact that they know there are things they're supposed to be doing, but they aren't strong enough to go ahead and step out on it. So they look at what you're doing as something that's intimidating to them, so they don't want to be supportive. Okay, Sam, I had to move some people out of the front row of my life. Exactly right. And so it can be hurtful, especially if you've been in a relationship with them for a long time. And it's like, okay, we've been friends for 20 years. We've been kicking it, and all of a sudden things start going, like to the left. And so you have to realize what's important to you, what's healthy. Unhealthy relationships are not the best for you. And so you have to dismiss yourself from that. Deacon LeMaine, hello, how you doing? Thank you for watching. So that's something to consider. It's hard as it may seem, but sometimes we have to make those tough decisions and choices. Okay. Forgiveness is not an option. It is a mandate. How hard is it for you to forgive an offense? Now that's a touchy one too. When I wrote about forgiveness in the book, we have to a lot of times forgive ourselves first. And then we're able to forgive someone else for an offense. And I've had some tests in my life where I've actually had to do that. And sometimes I don't want to forgive them. And I'm not going to forget what they did. Well, listen, that's not how God would have it. I've had to forgive those who have offended me. I had to forgive those who I knew that, okay, I have to look at the spirit of that person and not the person. I have to be able to forgive them for that. And I thank God because I've been able to forgive those who have offended me in my life. Whether it was someone that was very close to me, or someone who may have been maybe a co-worker that did something to try to get me to lose my job or what have you. I had to forgive them as a child of God. And so I know that if I want to ultimately be forgiven for the things that I've done, the trespasses that I've done, I too have to forgive. So that's very important. But someone tell me, how hard was it for you to forgive? Hi, Patrice. Anita, thank you for joining in. Patrice, thank you all for joining in tonight. Any situation where you found yourself that, you just... God had to really speak to you to forgive that person that offended you. Amen. Put a check on that spirit. Yes.